All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. Today we're going to be reviewing my 2018 John Deere 4066R. And before I forget, I'm going to try to remember to put some videos of me using this tractor, working, mowing, pulling discs, box blades, etc. I'll have links to those videos in the description below. Today's video may run a little long just talking, and if you would like to see it in action, don't forget to click the description below and I'll have those videos available for you. So if you're just now coming across this channel, we have a small YouTube channel where we're doing work around our 50-acre property, slowly developing it. I've been working on it the last 6 years and we're just now living over here full time. I've had this tractor for over a year now, probably not quite a year and a half. I have 265 hours on it, so I figure it's a good time to go ahead and do an initial review. And you're going to be shocked to learn that I have more cons than I do pros. And I can assure you, if the pros didn't outweigh the cons, this tractor wouldn't be sitting here. So that may surprise you, but I just want you to know I'm not the type that just because I invested so much money in something that I feel obligated to talk about nothing but the good things and to push this product. Don't get paid anything to do this review. These are just the types of reviews that I love to do. And again, don't be turned off by the cons, but I want to point out the little things that I've noticed over the last year and a half of ownership. So let's start with some of the pros of it. Now, I haven't done all my research. Like I said, it's been a year and a half since I've researched tractors since I bought this one. But probably the biggest two reasons that I bought the John Deere 4066 was, at the time, it was the most powerful compact tractor that I knew of. Most compact tractors top out in the 50 to 55 horsepower range. And to be perfectly honest with you, if you're looking at this review and thinking about purchasing a tractor and worried about horsepower, I can go ahead and assure you, little back history. I used to have a John Deere 3720 with 44 horsepower. It was a 3 series, so now it's the 3046 they call it. Extremely powerful tractor for the size. Had it for 13 years, zero problems with it other than one wheel seal that went out, and that's probably the biggest reason I'm still a John Deere fan. 13 years of ownership, only ever went to the shop once for just a leaking wheel seal. Got a lot of use out of that tractor. So reliability and dependability is the main reason that I have stuck with John Deere. But again, back to the power. If you're worried about going with, say, the 4052 model, don't. It'll be a perfect tractor for your needs. The only reason that you need 66 horsepower in a compact is for the PTO horsepower. If you can see behind me, I do a lot of mowing on this 50 acres. In the summertime, if we're getting a lot of rain, I mow anywhere from 30 to 60 acres a month. And I'm pulling an 8-foot finish mower as well as a 72-inch flail mower. So PTO horsepower is extremely important to me. You'll lose traction in these tractors long before you run out of horsepower. That's why I say if you're just running a bunch of ground engaging equipment or just a finish mower, you could probably get away with the 44 horse model in this one just fine. More horsepower is going to allow you to work a little bit more efficiently and faster on ground engaging equipment, and it'll allow you to run a mower more efficiently, have more PTO. So that was important to me, the PTO side of things. Let's talk about one other positive at the time. I don't know of many compact tractors, if any other ones, that run planetary gear system in the rear end. So that was kind of a big selling point to me. Supposedly it helps get more of the torque and power to the ground. I know a lot of large equipment runs planetary gears. That's a very reliable system. Another thing on this tractor, and I may start it up here in just a minute to show you, was the hitch assist on the back. And that's probably something we need to go into a little bit more. The R series models John Deere's come with hitch assist. So I can get off my tractor, raise and lower my 3-point from the rear, as well as move the tractor forward and reverse. Makes a huge difference for hooking up. Kind of a game changer and something brilliant that John Deere came out with. My last John Deere, that wasn't even invented yet. And when I'm planting food plots, for example, I may hook up to 5 different implements in a day. And having to jump off and on to get everything adjusted, you know, jumping off and on the operator's seat, even more aggravating when you have to climb in and out of a door. The hitch assist is a game changer. But I will show you all that here in just a minute. One other nice thing that comes with the 4066 models is an air ride seat. Now, I'm on the fence on this. It's very comfortable, far more comfortable than the last spring-loaded seat I had on my other John Deere, but who knows about longevity. I kind of do worry about an airbag not lasting for many, many years, so we'll have to see. I've had zero problems with it up to this point. So let's talk about some cons of this tractor that I have noticed compared to other tractors. I didn't do a whole lot of shopping around because I was pretty confident that I wanted a John Deere, but the cab size, these John Deere cabs seem to be smaller than say a Mahindra, for example, or a Rural King tractor. I've looked at some of those other ones. So if you're a real big guy, this is a smaller cab. And actually this is the same exact cab, if I'm not mistaken, that's on the 3 Series tractors. I do wish it was a little larger. However, I'm only 5'10", so this is comfortable. But one other thing that I don't like about this cab that I wish that it had, and if it was larger it would, is vented windows. You'll notice that a lot with other tractors. The cab's large enough to come back here, so they'll have side vented windows or a side roof. Now some can argue, hey, that's another point to leak, and that's true, but there's a lot of fall days like today that I would love to be able to ride around with vented windows and not have to run my AC. That's not a huge selling point, but something that I would have liked to have seen. So just know that these cabs are a little bit smaller. While we're on the discussion of the cab, one thing that this tractor does not have that I think was a big miss by John Deere is no AC recirculation. In the back upper part of the cab, there's a little foam filter there. It's not even replaceable, I don't believe, where some minor recirculation happens. But say like in your vehicle, when you want to recirculate the inside cold air, there's no button to do this. It pulls always from the outside air. Now it's got a good filter system on the back, very easy to change and clean out. But say for example here in Florida, when it's 100 degrees in the summer and I'm out there mowing for 8 hours straight, I don't never get hot in this cab, but I can tell that I do wish it was a little cooler at times. And don't get me wrong, it's a very comfortable cab. The AC works well as long as you keep the filter clean. But I think a recirc function would have been a real nice feature to add, and I've noticed some of the other tractors have that. So if you're up in northern states, may not be a problem. And again, I'm in Florida, I can live with how cool it gets me. If I were to ever tint the windows, that would probably make the tractor very cool. But just a big miss by John Deere, no AC recirculation. And again, no vented cab. You know, today 70 degrees, I'd love to ride around with a vented cab, not have to run my AC all the time. One other thing I was very disappointed in with John Deere compared to some of the other brands I looked at, Kubota for example does an excellent job with their hood. Now, I'm not going to sit here and play the plastic versus steel game that I see all of them play. I could honestly care less about that. It's access. So you have to take something and actually push an indentation in this hood. There's no lever, no nothing. I believe that might have changed on the 2019 models. But you have to push an indentation in, and all you get is the upper section to lift up. These side panels, you have to flip some tabs and actually take them out of the way and a bolt down below. So minor inconvenience, not a game changer, but as far as blowing out and servicing, there's extra steps here. Whereas even with my last John Deere, the hood and all come up in one piece. And I've noticed a lot of other tractor competing brands to John Deere, everything comes up so you get really good access to the side. Now as you can see, I don't have to remove this side panel to get to my oil filter or to my fuel filter. So that's why the side panel is not as big of a deal. Get to my other fuel filter right here. So you do get easy access, but for blowing out, getting in between your radiators, you know, it would be nice if this entire hood came up. But again, you got some tabs to flip here and just a few more steps to get that out of the way. And like I said, a few bolts if you want to continue to take the rest of it apart. So again, the competition is kind of a step ahead of them there as far as the hood goes. I do like that the battery's out here, very easy to get to if you need to charge or change. And it's really not low enough that I think you have to worry about running over stumps or something and tearing that off. It's over a foot off the ground. So if you're running over stuff like that, you're going to wind up running into the front axle before you will hitting that battery box. Now, something else to talk about. One big disadvantage of other brands are these steering arms. I really like how John Deere puts them somewhat tucked in behind the axle. So they do get some protection there. A lot of brands will have them out front and down very low. So if you do come up on that stump or tree in the wood, you can damage those. They do a pretty good job of tucking everything underneath. Nothing hanging down really bad. And the few things that are kind of tightened up and in some loom tube. So I do like how they protect underneath, although I do wish it had a skid pan, but I'm pretty easy on my tractor. not in a lot of rough stuff, but you may be. One other thing I feel like John Deere cheaped out on, you know, I noticed these little things. When you're buying a tractor as expensive as these, I want all the bells and whistles. This is supposedly their primo tractor, so I expect that. Because there's a lot of brands out there that's even cheaper that comes with extra features that this does not. For some reason, John Deere decided to cheap out on this door and not put a gas strut. No, nothing can hold this door open at all. As soon as I let it go, it's closing. There's times when I would love for this door to stay open so I can work the joystick or be turning the PTO off and on for my chipper. So again, that's just them kind of cheaping out. You know, a gas strut could not cost that much. If you move on up to the 4066R model, again, I told you it comes with the air ride seat, which I love. Very comfortable. Just do have a little bit of concerns about longevity of a rubber bag lasting, but well, you know, we'll see how that does down the road. You also get front and rear work lights. I don't believe you get that on the like 4052 or 44R models. You might just get fronts only. But I'll let you read up all the specs online. This video is not going to be necessarily about specs, because if you're like me, you'll go read up on all those. This is just kind of an owner's perspective, letting you know maybe the little things you didn't think of. Speaking of, I love the nice robust steps that they give you, although they do hang a bit low, and the access over here. But on the opposite side, I've seen some of the cheaper brands actually give you enough room to get in the cab and give you a set of steps over here. But again, because this cab is smaller, you're not getting in on this side. Now this is a huge selling point, and hopefully you can hear me with the tractor running, but I have to have it running to show you this feature. The Hitch Assist. This is a game changer for John Deere, and again, brilliant idea. A lot of people would buy these R-Series tractors just for this feature. So say I just backed up to something and I want to hook up to it. I've got this knob in the rear here where I can rotate up and down to raise and lower my 3-point. That is very nice for hooking up. But it gets even better. You have a series of buttons over here on this side. So you have to always press this button, and I can move the tractor in reverse, as you can see, or I can move it forward. That makes it so very nice when hooking up. Awesome feature. I don't know if it's patented, but other tractor manufacturers really need to come out with that. And at the time of making this review, there may already be somebody out there that's copied them on that. I'm just not sure. But fantastic feature. They offer a couple different style loaders for the R models. You get the quick disconnect style. There is a self-leveling loader, which I did not go for. It actually wasn't available at the time. They were several months back ordered. So all it is pretty much this loader. You can see it's got an extra spot for mechanical self-leveling lever that goes across. And I believe this upper arm's slightly different as well. But very straightforward. You actually flip these up. Once you take pressure off the bucket, you go around to the other side. They've got quick disconnects that are nicely labeled, and you can have this off in just a couple of minutes. I, for one, never take my loader off, so it does not bother me. If you go with the M series models, you have to upgrade to get a disconnect loader, otherwise it's solid mount. So before we jump in the cab and I show you that off real quick, I want to talk about two other things that were, well, one for sure that's probably on a lot of people's mind, was definitely on mine. The new Tier 4 emissions on these tractors. Again, I came from a tractor that was a 2005 model that did not have Tier 4 emissions to this. So if you're concerned about the Tier 4 emissions, at least at the moment I can tell you, don't be. My father owns a 4052 model, and he's had his for several years, had zero problems with the regen system on it. Whenever I bought this one, I talked to the dealer. I said, hey, you know, whenever basically there's a catalytic converter underneath the hood is what it boils down to, that has to boil out, or burn out, excuse me, every so often when it has carbon buildup. So I asked him, how much is it to replace that? He said, I don't know. He said, we've never had to replace one. So that made me feel pretty good that a pretty large dealer, these tractors already been out several years at the time I bought this one, and they have had zero problems with the regen systems, haven't replaced any parts on it, so felt pretty good about that. Now again, I have 265 hours and I've only ever regen 3 times that I can honestly think of. There's a little light that comes on the dash and you can hear a change in the engine, so you know when it's happening. And I believe the reason that I've only ever regen 3 times in 265 hours is because I do a lot of mowing. And when I mow, I've got my RPMs up quite a bit, you know, around 2,500 RPMs. So the tractor's really revved up and it's already running hot. And the dash actually has a soot percentage calculator on there that you can go to in the menu and know when it's building up with soot and it's about to regen. So I have noticed that whenever I run my RPMs really high, the tractor soot percentage actually drops. It's already burning out. It's not even regenning at that point. So as long as you don't idle your tractor around constantly, the regens are not happening near as much as I thought. So 3 out of 265 hours, that's way less than I thought on the regen. So don't worry about that. Now, if you're going to constantly leave your tractor idling everywhere, yeah, I believe you're going to regen quite a bit more often because you're not getting those exhaust gas temperatures up. But with that said, I think a regen, the few times I've had them, 10-15 minutes probably. Only one time it caught me when I was just about to put the tractor in the shop, so it was a little inconvenient then. I had to keep leaving it running. You can cut it off, but I suggest to go ahead and let it do the regen. The other 2 times it regen while I was mowing and doing some heavy work, never even noticed it, other than the light on in the dash, and it regen within just a few minutes, again, because the engine was already revved up and things were hot. So that part of it, hopefully I can put your mind at ease there. Most all these new tractors are coming with this system. I haven't really heard of any complications with it yet. We'll see down the road though, when it comes time to change that big filter out. I'd imagine they're going to be very pricey, but I haven't heard of anybody having to do that. The other issue, and something you may not know about at all, and I believe it's because this tractor is so powerful. 66 horse is honestly more than you need with a compact tractor. I've noticed this tractor has a hydraulic bypass on it. And let me explain. My last tractor, my 44 horse John Deere, it didn't matter what range you had it in, A, B, or C, because this is hydrostatic drive. You could get on the pedal and it would either stall the engine if you had it in a heck of a bind, or it would break traction and just spin itself down. This tractor, and I know it has this bypass to protect it. Say I'm in B range, for example, pulling the disc. If I get in a heck of a bind, or if I just really stomp on the pedal to try to get it going quickly without easing it up, it'll bypass the power, and I guess it dumps it back to the sump, the hydraulic fluid, and you do not get all power to the wheels. Now, I don't want to scare you with that. The reason it's doing that is protecting the tractor, and that very rarely happens. You've got to really be getting on your tractor hard. And I've noticed if you put it in A range, which is low range, that never ever happens. So it's only B or C range. And again, that's to make sure you're not overworking the tractor, because it's got a lot of power for a compact. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. It doesn't bother me at all when I'm pulling. I've got a heavy duty 6-foot disc or anything else. I've only ever noticed it twice, but I realize what's happening. Now on the buttons inside, which I'm about to go show you, there is power management features there where you can make it rev up or slow down. So it's got all kinds of protection and neat features built into the tractor. So I'm gonna show you the cab off right now. I guess while we're stepping into the cab, one con that I just thought of, zero storage, nothing. When you get the non-cab models, there's actually a tray that pulls out here that you could put a chain in or gloves. Right now that's all taken up, and there's fuses behind this panel, so very little storage other than something for a drink or just some miscellaneous pockets to throw a cell phone or something in. So I'm still trying to figure out on the outside where I can mount me a little toolbox just to carry some shear pins or pliers, things such as that. So here is the air ride seat. It's very simple. You press in to pump it up when the tractor's running. You pull out and it lets the air out so you can adjust the tension on the bag there, and the ride comfort. Very, very comfortable seat. So a big selling point for me on John Deere's versus say a Kubota, I love the forward and reverse pedals. I am not a fan at all of the treadle pedal like on a Kubota. Huge turnoff for me. May not be for others, but I hated that. So forward, reverse, very simple. I love this style joystick. I bought a tractor off the lot that did not have the extra button here for, say, a grapple. Wish it had it. You can always add that down the road, but this is so much more of a comfortable joystick than my last John Deere, which just had the big arm up here. You can also lock this in, which is a very nice feature. So say if I'm doing a lot of work where I'm turning around looking behind me, it's not uncommon for your knee to bump this, and next thing you know, your bucket's done dug into the ground. So you can lock that in. That's a nice little feature. Now, as far as this little center here, I forget what they call it. It's got neat little adjustments on it, and you can get these tractors far more loaded than my model here. But this has cruise control where you turn off and on, set up, down. It's got some different power management features here. One of them you can turn on so whenever you press the pedal here, it revs up and down just like a car, and you do not have to use this right here. So the further down you push the pedal, the more it revs up, just like a vehicle. It's kind of a nice feature to have. The other one, I forget exactly how it works, but basically it senses when the tractor is under load. Say I'm pulling a heavy set of disc, and it'll actually change the tractor, rev it up more. Like I said, I don't really know exactly how that works. I don't really use that feature a whole lot. This knob here actually adjusts your pedals, how far back the tractor rolls. Say once I let off this pedal, the tractor doesn't instantly stop, or I can make it do that. I can make it where I let off the pedal and the tractor coasts to a stop, or it has an instant jarring stop. So you've got some different features there that you can play with the pedals. You've got multiple spots where I could have got rear remotes. My tractor did not come with it. I've never personally found a need for rear remotes. This right here raises and lowers your 3-point hitch. Work lights on the rear, windshield wipers, and then I'm adding some extra buttons myself for some other attachments. As far as the dash goes, this is your forward drive lever up to lock it in. This right here is for your windshield wipers, and I should mention both front and rear have washer fluid, so you just push this button in and you'll get washer fluid there. Now this is how you turn your hitch assist on. The tractor has to be in A range, low range, medium range, and here's your high range. But you're going to do the majority of your work in A or B. C is kind of for transporting. But as far as hitch assist goes, you have to be in low range. You have to put your emergency brake on. You flip this little lever up. You get off the seat and it's ready to go. Now you can go back there and the tractor's real safe to operate. In low range, you have to be idled all the way down so the tractor just will not move fast. No risk of it running over you. And you have to have all these safety features set. It takes 3 seconds to do everything in that order. Obviously there's your brake pedals. As far as the cab goes, pretty basic, no sunroof. I opted to get the radio in mind. It's got speakers. Sadly, only 2 speakers. You would think, as expensive as this is, it would come with 4 speakers. No, it only comes with 2 little speakers up here. Not the best stereo system. That's another place that John Deere dropped the ball, that I would say the competition's definitely ahead of them. Most of their tractors come with radios and 4 speakers. Does not come with Bluetooth, which was also extremely disappointing. It comes with every other feature. So I bought this little piece off of Amazon. It was like 15 bucks, and it turns the auxiliary into Bluetooth. So it's just a shame that I had to do that. Pretty basic. This is that little foam filter right here that allows some recirculation, but as you can see on the buttons, it's either AC off or on. No recirc. It's always pulling in outside air. Heater works exceptionally well. Not much needed here in Florida. Also comes with a little 12-volt charger, which should be standard nowadays on anything like this. Now I know there's no way I answered every single question that you have, so feel free to drop a comment below. I'm always paying attention to my comments. I have notifications on my phone, so when one pops up, majority of the time it will let me know, and I try to do my best to respond. So ask anything you'd like. And again, don't forget in the description below, I know you probably want to see this tractor doing some work from mowing to box blading to disking. I'll include several videos there, but that's not all of them that we have on our channel. So check our channel out. If you like it, we'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe. But there's probably over 50 videos now, and I'm starting to get in more of a routine of uploading 2 to 3 a week. This tractor's on there a lot. So if you'd like to see it work, check that out. I appreciate you watching. I'll try to have another review out soon. Maybe when I hit 500 hours on the tractor or 2 to 3 years of ownership, I'll bring another one out. Appreciate you watching.